All right, everybody, let's go. All right. Number 13, what is the square root of 64? Don't overthink it. Thank you. That's my favorite warm-up of all time. We can be done now. No, we can't. Just kidding. Okay. Number 15. So 45. Is 45 is 45 divisible by 4? No. Is 45 divisible by 9? Yes. Okay, so 6 times the square root of 9 times the square root of 5. Notice I put the 9 in the front. Some of us were talking about that the other day. I can't remember who, but some of us were talking about where to put that. And I put the perfect one in the front because it's going to multiply with the 6. So this is 6 times 3 times the square root of 5, which is 18 square root 5. Okay. Number 17, the 2 is not divisible by anything in the list, so I move on. 2 is not divisible by anything in the list, so I move on. 18, is 18 divisible by 4? No. Is it divisible by 9? Yes. Okay. So we have negative 3 root 2 minus 3 root 2 minus 3 times the square root of 9 times the square root of 2. So this guy didn't change. This guy didn't change. This guy broke into 9 and 2. Negative 3 root 2 minus 3 root 2 minus 3 times root 2. Okay, now these are all like terms. They're all 2's, so they can all be combined together. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. Minus 6 is negative 12 root 2. So negative 3 roots of 2 minus 3 more roots of 2 minus 6 more roots of 2. It's negative 12 roots of 2. Is there anything I can do for you from the first 3 problems? Any help I can give you whatsoever? Okay, now can you guys scroll down to number 19? Because I don't know if any of you are wondering, why did we pause from the middle of triangles and just start this weird square root business? Did anyone have that thought in their head? Like we were just cruising on triangles and now Mrs. Talbot's got us off on this weird square root thing. The reason is because when you do Pythagorean theorem, you got a square root. And so when I ask you for simplest radical form or exact form, you need to know how to do the square root thing. Okay, so we're going to start with Pythagorean theorem. The x is the hypotenuse, so that's c. So 4 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. Actually, I'm going to put x there. (16 plus 64 equals x squared). Okay. All right, now I know this problem says leave your answer in simplest radical form. We're going to do it in both forms because your quiz tomorrow says leave it in exact and approximate form. So we're going to do both. The first one we're going to do is exact form or simplest radical form, those are the same thing. Exact or simplest radical form is where we take the square root of 80 and we find the perfect squares. So is 80 divisible by 4? Yeah. Is it divisible by 9? No. Is it divisible by 16? I'm not sure. Oh, it is. Okay. Do you guys want to? Okay. Let me ask you this. If you're doing this problem on a quiz, would you just try the 4 and see what happens? Or you would keep going and divide by other stuff? Yes. Okay, but neither 8 nor 10 is on the list. Okay. The most efficient way is to notice that 80 is 16 times 5 and that the square root of 16 is 4. That's the easiest way to do that. So this is exact or simplest radical form. Approximate form is what you get from the calculator, which is not perfect because it's a decimal that goes on forever. And that's where you need to know how to do the square root in the calculator. So I did square root of 80. Okay, so the whole point of us studying all this square root stuff is so that we can answer geometry questions in exact form, because sometimes they ask for exact form and sometimes they ask for approximate form, and it just depends on the problem. Any questions about any of this stuff? Any of these 4 fine warm-ups from this morning? Do you feel warmed up? There are 4 of them. You still cold? Okay, can you guys find the worksheet that was the homework, please? It's the simplifying square roots and quiz 2 review. Here. Talia, I updated the thingy. I think you're in number 9 now. Are there any questions from this worksheet that I could go over for you? Simplifying square roots quiz 2 review worksheet. Anything I can do for you? Yes, honey. Because there has to be 3 things marked. You need you need a combination of 3 things, basically. So, or it's one of the non-congruent conditions, which would be angle, 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 or side, side, angle. Okay, so like this one right here, it only has one set of angles and one set of sides, so that is only 2 things. And you can't mark any vertical or reflexive, so that's not enough info because there's only 2 things marked. That's an excellent question. Yes, Sam. 29. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, so Sam, is 5 divisible by 4? And it's smaller than 9, so that doesn't even make sense. Is 5 divisible by 4? No. Is 2 divisible by 4? It's just 8:45. It's okay. And is 6 divisible by 4? No. So I can't simplify any of those. So the next step is just to look for like terms. These 2 are like terms, so you can combine. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0, so those two cancel each other out. And then you just have that left over. And you cannot add those together because they're not like terms. Did you feel like there was more that you were supposed to do? Yeah. That one is so easy, it's hard. One of those. Actually, I think that's the case for 27, 28, and 29. Any other questions from the worksheet at all? Yes. Please, 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 please. Okay, now, did you multiply these two? Yeah. It's best if you don't. So because square root of 25 is already, so what I would do, what I would do would be negative square root 25 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. Okay, what does that get for us? What does that get for us, guys? Negative 5 times 2, negative 5 times 2 times 5 squared. Okay, I love how you said all of that stuff. Let's talk about how to say this properly, because I've been working with a lot of students the last few days who've just been saying this in a goofy way. So, can you guys all see that the front of it is negative 5? Okay, and then can you see times 2, even though I didn't write it? Okay, when you see this, say root 5 or radical 5. Those are your two options, root 5 or radical 5. Don't say squared. Squared is a very different thing. It's a little baby too. And I know what you're talking about, because I'm a math teacher and I get from language, I know what you're talking about. But proper vocab, there it is. Radical. If you want to sound really cool, you can say radical. Yeah. Can you hold on? Or you can say root. Okay, so what would be the final answer of this, Jules? Do you, okay, so let's do it slower. So negative, so square root of 25 is, okay, beautiful. Square root of 4 is beautiful. Square root of 5 is, and I'm gonna actually not make you answer that because that's, okay. What you're, what you're supposed to say is it's the square root of 5. But I know if I asked you the question, you would try to think of what the square root of 5 was, and I didn't want you to do that. Okay, so now what do I do? Yes, beautiful. Okay, so let me guess. I'm just gonna put on my genie hat. No, it's not even a genie. What would be who tries to see the future? I don't know. Fortune teller? Yeah. Okay, with my fortune teller hat on, did you multiply 25 and 20 and get a huge number and then have no idea what to do with it? Yeah. Is it 500? Well, that's not terrible, because you could have done the square root of 100 and 5. But I kind of feel like in this one, some like magical being did part of the first problem for you, and so you only had to like keep going. I don't. Okay. Okay, you guys. So this is what I need you to do next. I need you to get your computers out for a Kahoot, please. And your pink pages. Pink or yellow. Either yellow or pink. Yellow or pink will work here. Let me get the music. Pink paper allowed, yellow paper allowed, or basically the same thing. You guys wanna know the story about the two? Someone in this class today, sitting here, helped me design it. A student just happened to roll into school early and thought he was gonna be able to chill, and then I bugged him for help all before school. But if he wins, it might be unfair, but that's okay. Student designed Kahoot, I love it. So close, looking for two more. One more. One could be, we have, a majority got it correct. These people here somehow saw a side being marked on the triangle. There was no side marked. What was marked? Angles. What do we know about angles? Right. Remember when we did our look back at the backboard here, you guys look at the yellow triangles. Some are big, some are little. And I told you guys to start with a side, so. Yes, honey. Yes. Are you trying to get your first place status again, Quincy? I like Kahoot game. Never mind. Haha, 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 haha. Which one of you assumed RHL because you saw a right angle? You can't just assume RHL because it's a right angle. I put that one in there on purpose. Look at all the learnings.
You have a right angle and then
We're learning. There we go. It's happening. Our admin team is too invested in the Kahoot. They can't leave. My boss is making sure that I'm not like throwing a party. That one is side angle, which is not a congruence condition. Side angle and the letter nope. You guys, I have to be honest, we put tricky ones in here on purpose.
side, between side angle, side.
That angle has to be in between the two sides, or side angle side. It has to be like literally how you say SAS. The angle has to be between them. Okay, we have side down apparently. That's good. We're in the learning space. It's okay. So I think personally the hardest two are to tell the difference apart between is angle side angle and angle side. Just I think that's the hardest personally. Two more. And then we're practicing flow charts. Okay, you were supposed to mark the reflexive in your mind, and that would be the hypotenuse. And then the length. Evan, that's me. Evan.
Well, it's not very funny.
Uh-huh. Okay, now can you guys please find the classwork today is this. So we're going to do this page together. And then for the last part of class, we're going to do a triangle congruent theme quiz. Oh, yes, please. Go ahead. Yeah. So I want you guys to basically practice for the quiz that we have tomorrow, but practice in your groups, and talk it out. So you get kind of a first chance before tomorrow. Okay. So find this page. I'm gonna have my pink sheet next to me for this. Each pair of triangles below, determine if the two triangles are congruent. If the triangles are congruent, provide justifications by organizing your work in a flow chart. If the triangles are not congruent or there's not enough information to determine congruence, then right cannot be determined. The diagrams are not drawn to scale. Okay. Take a look at A. Does anyone have anything that they can add to this picture for A? Okay, if this is 56 and this is 29, then what's this? 95, beautiful job. And if this is 95 and this is 56, okay, what three things do I have labeled in these triangles? All angles. Is angle, angle, angle a congruence theorem? No. No. So if you remember from your yellow pages, that's funny. Angle, angle, angle is similar, but not congruent. You can have big ones and small ones. So this is okay. B. Does anyone have anything that they can think of to add to this diagram? Reflexive, beautiful. So I'm going to put one mark there. It would be angle, side angle. Very nice. Okay, so now we're practicing the flow chart. This particular problem is a basic one, meaning that there's 3 bubbles for the start. So just start by setting up 3 bubbles. It kind of helps us if we know how many bubbles there are to fill it all out properly. Okay, so do you want to start with the right angles? Do you want to start with the reflexive, or do you want to start with these angles? Should we just move left to right? Well, let's do the right angles. Now, I have a question for you guys. Is there more than one angle D in this problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means I have to use 3 letters. So my top angle, I'm going to call ADB. That's ADB. And my bottom angle, I'm going to call C. I'm going to say angle first. Angle CDB. And I'm going to write the reason of given. And the reason that it's given is because the right angle symbols were printed on the page before I got there. Okay, now we're going to go to the reflexive side. So I'm going to put reflexive here. How many letters should I use for a side? Two. Beautiful. DB is congruent to DB. Okay, now I look here. Is there more than one angle B? Yeah, so unfortunately, I can't be lazy. I have to use three letters. Angle ABD is congruent to angle CBD. Just a warning, there's a lot of angle CBDs in this whole chapter. Feel free to giggle to yourself. I don't even know how that happened, but it just did. Okay, and that is given because the angle was marked before I got there on the paper. Okay, now I'm going to say triangle ABD. I'm going to go in alphabetical order for the top triangle. So if I go ABD on the top triangle, I need to go CBD on the bottom triangle because those are the ones that line up. And this is angle, angle. Nope, I'm a liar. Yeah, I guess. Angle, side, angle, congruence. Okay. Any questions about B? Okay, here's my question. Next question. Do you want to do the spicy one now or the spicy one last? Now? Okay, so go to C. C is the spiciest one on this whole sheet. Well, let's just get it over. Okay, we're going to use the pink paper a lot here. So do you guys see the arrows on this picture? Okay, when you see arrows on the picture, your brain needs to go immediately, oh, I need to look at this box from my pink sheet because it's got arrows on it. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. When your picture has arrows, you need to go to this box on your pink sheet because it has arrows. Okay, so I'm going to put these two things next to each other under the camera. It says, if given parallel lines, check for alternate interior angles. So I'm going to look at my picture here and I'm going to say, okay, that means that this one is equal to that one. And that is called alternate interior, but I'm really lazy, so I wrote alt int. Okay, so to start my flow chart for the alt int, I'm going to come back over here to my yellow sheet and I'm going to copy off of this. So this says WX is parallel to YZ. For my picture, I'm going to say GH is parallel to EF. Can you guys see how I switched the letters to match my picture? And I picked the ones that had the arrows. Okay, and then that's given. Yes. You can use this paper pretty much any time that we have triangle congruence on any quiz or test. So, okay, now I'm going to do this bubble, which is the alternate interior. So this one is angle GHF. And this one is angle EFH. Okay, does anyone see anything else on this picture? Beautiful. Reflexive. FH is congruent to HF. Does anyone see anything else on the picture? I've got two things done. I need three. There's something else on the picture we haven't used yet. We did the parallel. That's true. It is angle side angle. I need the other angle to get that. I've got angle side. What's the other angle? Isn't it the given one? It's right here. We forgot the given. Angle GFH is congruent to angle EHF. My given. Okay, what would be alphabetical order on the top triangle? FGH. You guys are thinking about it. You're like, Okay, now what does F go with on the other triangle, the bottom one? See how it's got this given angle marked in it? So that would be H. What does G go with in the other triangle? E. Okay, now pause here. This one is spicy. I realize how spicy this problem is. I did not put a spicy one on your quiz. Not for you to do alone. The one tomorrow is just the plain three bubbles with the answer. You don't have to worry about the spiciness yet. We're just starting out. Okay, now take a look at D. What's the situation with D? There's what? So the sixes match. Oh, are you looking at E? Sorry, I meant D. Hold the thought on E. There's something missing on D. Can you guys tell that there's something missing? Yeah, so there's supposed to be a 4 right there for this to work. So this is kind of what Roxy and I were talking about earlier. This one's got sides that match. It's got angles that match, but it's only two things. It doesn't have this third thing, so there's not enough info. Okay, last one. E. And this one's awful because it looks like three triangles. It does. Okay, what we're gonna do to fix that is we're just going to draw them separately real quick. This picture, every time I look at it, reminds me of Patrick Star with fishnet stockings on, and I don't know why. Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, anyway, so this would be D, this would be A, and this would be B. And I have this marked with 2 slashes and this marked with 1 slash. And then this would be C, this would be B, and this would be A. Okay, so you might be thinking to yourself that it's not enough information, but there actually is something we can add to this picture. It's going to be a critical thinking thought. It's an advanced thought. Can anyone see anything that I can add to this picture? Yes, why? Almost a vertical angle. It's making a reflexive side, meaning that they share. So you can tell because this is AB and that's the same letters. AB has to be equal to itself. Okay. I want you to do your best to try to fill this out while I pass out the team quiz. Fill in the bubbles with your group. I'm gonna put the answer up in a couple minutes. Okay, so there's my first bubble. You guys don't have to have this one first, but I said angle A is congruent to angle B because of given. You probably put 3 letters because you're, better than me. Angle C is congruent to angle D because of given. Okay, which one is it? Moment of truth. Nope. Angle, side. Okay, for it to be angle, side angle, the side would have to be between your 2 angles. This side is not in between my 2 angles. It's across the triangle. That's angle, side. Okay, last one, number 44. What single rigid transformation would show congruence of triangle CAB and DBA in part E of problem 743? Be as specific as you can. Okay, when it asks for rigid transformation, it means, is it a reflection, rotation, or translation? What is this one? This picture here, Patrick's legs and the reflection, rotation, or translation? Reflection. Okay, can you guys please look at the stamp sheet side real quick? Okay, so I need to stamp, I believe, the simplifying square roots, notes, and digital escape, the quiz to review, and then we just did this, but you guys are still need to do this. And this is tonight's homework, 46 through 51. Okay, before I stop talking. Yeah, so cute. I want to look here at the quiz topics for tomorrow. Okay, so there's 3 topics. It says you're allowed to use your pink sheet and a calculator. First topic, Pythagorean theorem, leaving put answers in both exact and approximate form. Do you know what that means? So do Pythagorean theorem and do the square root thing and the decimal. You know what I mean by the square root thing? Okay. Stating and justifying whether triangles are congruent. So that's like just saying angle side angle or angle side or not having to do the whole flow chart. It's like the very front page of this quiz. It's just saying verticals and reflexives and which theorem it is. And then the last thing is flow chart, but it's not a spicy one. It's just 3 regular bubbles in the end. Okay. So I'm gonna walk around. I want you guys to work on the triangle congruence quiz. Definitely talk to each other. That's fine. When you guys are done, I'll take that from you, and then then you guys can work on your homework. Does that make sense? Okay.
3 silence.